The kennel at Coronado had never held a dog like Ghost. Handlers who had trained working dogs for 15 years called him the closest thing to a wild animal wearing a collar. He was a Belgian Malinois, black-masked and barrel-chested, bred from a line of elite military dogs, and by every measure of pedigree, he should have been the finest asset the program had ever produced. Instead, he was 2 months away from being pulled from service entirely, because nobody could get near him without risking a hand. He had come back from his last deployment different. His handler, a young corporal named Reyes, had been killed in an ambush that Ghost survived alone, dragging himself half a mile with shrapnel in his hind leg to reach the extraction point. Nobody doubted his courage. What worried the program was everything that came after. Ghost had stopped trusting anyone who came near his kennel. 3 trainers had already been bitten badly enough to need stitches. The base's head trainer, a gruff old master chief named Dobbins, had grown up around dogs and had never seen one shut down so completely. He said Ghost wasn't dangerous. Ghost was grieving, and grief in an animal that size looked exactly like danger to everyone who didn't know how to read it. That was when Commander Sarah Voss arrived, though nobody introduced her that way at first. She showed up in plain fatigues, no rank visible, and asked simply to observe. Voss had spent 6 years as one of the first women to complete a Joint SEAL support qualification, running canine operations in 3 different theaters, and she had a reputation inside the program that rarely made it into official records, because so much of what she did never got written down. She had a way of disappearing into a room, watching far longer than anyone thought necessary before she did anything at all. She watched Ghost for 4 straight days before she ever opened his kennel door. She noticed things the others had missed in their hurry to fix him. He flinched at fast movements near his shoulder, the exact place Reyes used to rest a hand before missions. He refused food from anyone standing upright, but relaxed slightly when someone crouched low. He circled the corner of his run every evening at the same hour, the hour his handler used to visit before evening chow. Voss didn't see a broken animal. She saw a dog rehearsing a memory that would not let him go, over and over, waiting for someone who was never coming back. Dobbins told her flatly that she was wasting her time, that the review board wanted a decision within the week, and Ghost was likely headed for reassignment to a facility that housed dogs who could no longer serve. Voss asked for 1 more day. He gave her until sundown. She spent the afternoon sitting outside Ghost's kennel, not speaking, not reaching, simply matching her breathing to the rhythm of his pacing, until the pacing slowed to match hers instead. Somewhere in the stillness of that patience, something shifted, the same way it sometimes shifts between 2 creatures who have both learned that the world can take away the things they love without warning. She had lost people too. She never spoke of it to the men on base, but there had been a teammate once, a friend closer than family, who never came home from a mission that she carried with her the way Ghost now carried Reyes. She understood, in a way words could never fully translate, exactly what silence in an animal like this was trying to say. When the sun dropped low enough to turn the kennel bars gold, she opened the door and sat down inside without a leash, without a command, without any of the training tools the others had tried and failed with. Ghost rose to his feet immediately, ears pinned, low growl building in his chest, and every trainer watching from the fence line froze, certain they were about to witness disaster. Voss didn't move. She lowered her eyes, turned her shoulder slightly away. The exact posture Ghost's body had been begging someone to understand for months, a signal that said, "I am not here to replace what you lost. I am only here to sit with you in it." The growl faded into something quieter. Ghost took 1 slow step forward, then another, until his head rested against her knee. And for the first time since the ambush that took his handler, the dog exhaled the kind of breath that sounds like surrender rather than defense. Dobbins, watching from the fence, later said it was the only time in 30 years he had felt his throat tighten over a training report. Ghost was not cured that evening. Grief does not work on schedules that convenient. But something had cracked open that allowed healing to begin. And within 2 months, under Voss's quiet, patient hand, Ghost returned to active service, eventually saving an entire patrol from an ambush eerily similar to the one that had taken his first handler's life. Voss never took credit for what happened in that kennel. She said all she had done was recognize a kind of pain she already knew by heart, and remind a grieving animal that trust, once broken, could still be rebuilt by someone willing to sit quietly inside the wreckage of it for as long as it took.